Hello. Don't mind. He's running late for his cue. No, being silly. He's in the bedroom. In the wrong way. There he is. He was in the bedroom. Then I realised I left the bedroom. And so he came running out and he's gone into the lounge now because that's where the couch is. Hello, welcome. What are we? We're day 16 of a 120-day reintegration process. And oh, what a day. I tell you what, I'm grumpy. I'm grumpy. Oh my God, I feel really grumpy. And which means that I'm reacting to things. I don't like to react to stuff, even shitty stuff, you know. It's nice to sit with it for a while and be considered in regards to how you respond. Anyway, so I haven't really had that today. And so found myself reacting, and I don't like to react. Anyway, I think I just told you that. Hey, so so heading into the weekend, which is always exciting. What I was going to talk about is one of the things that I'm trying to do is get away from screens. And it's interesting because, like, you know, here I am sitting here talking to you via a screen. And isn't it interesting that our screens or our phones have pretty much become everything for us, right? For me, it's how I communicate, but it's things like it's my radio, and I love the radio. I always listen to the radio. I need noise when I sleep, so the radio is always on. And you know, the biggest disappointment ever was the discontinuation of radio sport. I love sport, and so that took me away from radio, like the Android type radio, purely because I needed to listen to the radio and I needed to get my sports fix. And so anyway, so I listened to American Fox Sport Radio, but in an attempt to get away from that, bear with me because that was what I needed. In an attempt to get away with that, I've gone back to something that I learnt late. Love incredibly, but also don't do as much as I want to, and that's reading. And so, do you read? Because I find that that it's easy to listen, right? You can get a book on YouTube, you can get a book on Borrow Books, and so you listen. But it's a different part of the brain. Well, it's a different part of my brain. And what I find is that because of how I am, I tune out. Now, when I read, I'm using a different part of the brain, and there's a level of concentration that goes with it. So, tell me, are you a reader? And if you do, are you like me? I have a number of books on the go, and so I went into the bedroom because I wanted to get my books. So, and I'll show you what I've got. So, Love is the Key. I'm not sure where I found this. Actually, I'd say that I found it in the second-hand bookshop in Sanson. Yeah. Really good, that one there. So that's interesting. It's good to dive in and out of. It's small statements, and it's very reflective. Haven't started this yet, but that's the next one. Is the diving bell and the butterflies. That's interesting. But to show that it's not all spiritual, right? John O'Lee, great author. One of my heroes. Great socialist, John, and a really good and interesting writer. So read that before, we'll read it again. And this is the final one, Once and Future King. And what I love about this is the connection to Merlin, and Merlin's a guide of mine. So, but I dive in and out of all of these books, believe it or not. And sometimes I'll just get motivated to sit down and, finish it. Not so much the big one that I showed you last, because it's got a bit of meat to it. But John O'Lee, he's easy to read and you can power through it. Anyway, so are you a reader, and do you read? And do you find that you have shifted from reading to listening or watching? I'm at the stage of, how do you live life without a screen, without a phone? Do you go back to simple technology so people can still get hold of you? But, you don't have the draw of a blue screen. Anyway, just a thought. I'll let you know how I go. But tell me in your comments, are you a reader? And if you are a reader, do you do one book at a time? Or do you do a whole range of books? And have you got anything that's worth recommending? What I was thinking about doing is actually there was books that I read when I was younger that steered me, I suppose, spiritually. And so it would be good to, I might do a little bit of a video on those at some point and explain why. Anyway, heading into the weekend, enjoy yourselves, be safe, be careful, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.